What's up, party people? Welcome back to episode 3 in our 4-part conversation about hosting and attending in-person events without sacrificing your sanity or your safety, while also making sure you get the best bang for your buck because, hello, that's part of why we're doing this, right? Today, we're digging into how event hosts can act with integrity and provide the best doggone experience for every person who has a stake in the success of your event. But first, if you haven't listened to episodes 1 and 2 of this 4-part conversation, stop what you're doing right now. Go in order. It matters. We're building a foundation. I will drop both of those in the show notes. But for now, grab your notebooks and hold on to your tits. This one is most definitely for you.
I want to talk about, for the event hosts that I know their ears are burning and they're listening to this conversation, from your background and just incredible amount of expertise and knowledge in stakeholder experience and operations and providing a stellar client experience. What do you think are some of the things that event hosts can do to ensure that everyone involved with their event, attendees, sponsors, volunteers, speakers, all of the stakeholders can have a high quality experience? And, what are some of the things, especially as a first time event host, that event hosts need to make sure that, like, hey, I'm responsible for delivering on this?
Communication is queen, number one. Like, I would always say that, and you can duplicate this and put it on almost like anything, event host, any sort of experience, any sort of exchange or something like that. Communication is going to be queen to me because you want to anticipate what questions people may have, and this is how you get to that communication. This is how you plan your whole event, essentially. It's like you want to anticipate every need or question someone may have and answer that before they have it. I'm not saying if you don't, when people have questions, that's a problem. Don't mistake like what I'm saying there. What I'm saying is the way that you do it and you communicate these expectations to people is that you anticipate what their needs are. So I need to know where to go when I get to the location that you provided. I got the address in the parking lot, but where do I go now? If that's not clear, tell me. Communicate these things. The agenda of your event, communicate that with people before. And this goes to every stakeholder, so it's not just attendees. Like you pointed out, there are vendors sometimes, there are brand partnerships, there are speakers, there's all these different people in the ecosystem that helps you pull an event off successfully, and you have a responsibility as an event host to make sure that they know where to be, how to participate, what's acceptable and what's not, what you expect from them, what they can expect from you, where to go, what will happen, times, who the speakers are, all of that. So make sure that you communicate everything except for your super fun little secrets. Everything, like you got a surprise or two there, that you want to keep, something you do that's different, something you're excited about. Keep that to yourself, but otherwise people need to know what's going to happen. They shouldn't have questions coming up on the day of the event. And then I like to always throw in something extra. When I talk about the experience you're providing to every stakeholder involved, a little something extra. So just one way that you can do this is providing like a list of accommodations and 2 or 3 of your favorite places to eat for people that are traveling out of town. That is very simple to pull and do. So if you don't already have accommodations included in your event, it's just an event space and people are traveling from out of town, that's a bonus little thing, so that, again, they don't even have a question. From the moment your marketing has worked and you've convinced them to buy a ticket, everything else that they do, they shouldn't have to think about or worry about, essentially. And it doesn't have to be that hard on you to anticipate that. Where do they need to stay? When do they need to show up? What do they need to bring? How do they need to dress if they can't figure that out, right? How are they going to move in the room? Are there calls before that they're going to show up on? Things like that. And then anything after the event. Another extra, I think, that you can bring is like giving people tips depending on your event on what to do once that event ends. And that can be a quick little email. That can be a quick little checklist. That can be like, hey, it doesn't stop when you leave the room. Here's my 3 tips for carrying on the conversations. Like that little bit extra makes you memorable. It makes people want to come back to your event, and it leads people to say your name and recommend your event the entire year until it comes again, which, if you want to talk about smart business, means that your marketing just got easier because people are marketing for you in rooms you're not in. So the benefits are so far reaching to just slow down a little bit and anticipate what people need to know and tell them that before they ever even know that they need to know it.
I was just like frantically nodding yes with every single thing that you said, because all of those things are so important, and you have an ethical obligation to provide that kind of experience. And if you just want you plan to do the event more than once, you want your sales to get easier, you want your event to grow, these are no-brainer things that every event host should be doing if they have a long-term plan for their event.
Yeah, well, and Taylor, like again, your event is one that I can't just speak for me. I've been in rooms where other people were saying, go to Power Table Live. And there's a reason for that, because of like checking all of these boxes, you know? So like, yeah, toot your own horn, all that fun stuff. But that is why. So if you want people to say your name in rooms that you're not in and recommend your event for you, and I know like that's not why you do it, that's not your why, but it's certainly a great product and you're already doing the event anyway, so do it really, really well. And now suddenly people are saying your name because we knew what to expect walking into your event. I had no questions. I had a great experience while I was there and made great connections, and I felt cared for, and I knew what to do after, and I'm still thriving off those connections a year later. So it's not even what is my goal. It's a no-brainer now, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the difference. You want to be a no-brainer for people. When someone asks, whose name are you spitting? That's the goal that you have here. That's the goal for the kind of experience you want to provide to people, events or anywhere that you touch them truly.
It takes hundreds of hours to plan and execute a good event. And it can be difficult if it's your first event when you're thinking like, oh yeah, I want to provide people with all this information. But the reality is like planning an event is actually like a 4 to 6 month process. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, well, how do I provide them that if I don't have answers yet from confirmed speakers or confirmed sponsors or things like that? I'll just say that it is your responsibility to have a strong project management system and to have deadlines. A big mistake I see with event hosts and how they're not able to deliver a high quality stakeholder experience is they are not holding people to boundaries and deadlines. So you can't deliver for your attendees that agenda, that list of things to do, how much the hotel costs or where to stay or any of those things if you're still waiting on other people to get back to you.
Yep.
So, like, it sounds crazy, but I chose my speaker 6 months before my event. And I've been working on partnerships for like basically a year. And we have hard deadlines of like, hey, after this date, I won't take your money as a sponsor because signage is already done, right? Because agendas are done, because the attendee experience matters more to me than accommodating someone's last minute request. And I think a lot of event hosts don't realize how important the long-term planning is and how every single one of these little touch points makes a difference in whether or not you sell tickets for years to come versus you struggle to get people in the room one time.
I loved that you said project management specifically, because that's what this is. You're planning an event, it's a project, and it's a massive one. I take this back to all business. I used to tell people this all the time and still do as necessary. If it has more than 10 steps, it's a project plan. Right? Mm-hmm. 10 is way easier than the monumental amount that you're talking about for pulling off an event. But that's how you pull this all off without losing your marbles. Because I just said all this, and if you're an event host, you're like, yeah, where am I going to fit that into everything I'm already doing? I got to market this bad boy. Those 200 people I want in the room, I got to find those. How am I going to do all this other stuff? You're going to do it because you're going to project plan it from the inception of having that idea for the event for the first time. Or, again, you're 6 months out in the timeline you need. And you know in that project plan that you're working on speakers, and then you're selecting speakers, and that has a due date, and their response to you has a due date that you have communicated to them. And now on to vendors, they have due dates. Now you're sending them an email. All of those are a task as part of your project plan. That project plan clearly has a due date, right? The date of your event. But then month by month, what you need to do is there, and it has an assigned person and an action and a date for that. That's how you keep the trains on the track, and you arrive at this feeling not quite so frazzled, while also being able to deliver the experience that your people deserve and that you want to, because again, your reputation is your revenue, and it starts from planning this thing. Truly, I love that. So good. Let's flip side this a little bit. So let's say we've put forth our effort and we project planned and we tried to anticipate and we communicated and we did all the things and we're marketing and we really are coming from a good place and all good intentions, but a mistake is made. Event host makes a mistake and a ball gets dropped. Just to keep that general. What do you think an event host can do? I know that what my answer is.
How do you want people to feel? And then make a decision on your actions based on that. So I want people to feel that I responded to them with honesty and care. And so mistakes happen. We've had people's emails never get tagged. So like they never got any of the emails, even though they bought the ticket, just an automation broke somewhere. So I want them to feel that I cared about them and I made it right. So immediately upon being notified of this, like I'm not going to wait 3 days to then tag them and give them emails. I'm going to respond as fast as I possibly can. I'm so sorry. This was a fault in our system. Like we didn't catch it. I'm going to send you those emails right now. And if you personally have any questions, DM me, or here's one of my team members you can talk to, and let's make sure to make this right for you. And whatever the situation is, sometimes it might be a vendor misunderstood something and then they get there and they're not quite like fully thrilled with how their product is set up or something like that. Like communication happens, mistakes happen, but I think if you start from the point of how do I want that person to feel, then you can decide what's the best way to resolve it.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. My thoughts are own it. That's it. Always, first off, own it because someone noticed. So hiding it is not an option, but it's also not how you lead. And running an event and running a business demands that you become a leader at some point. And so hiding it is not how we do that. So owning the mistake. And I also like to say solutioning it. So this just comes from managing people in general and my time doing that. And I always took this approach was if I'm coming to you and telling you, oh snap, I made this mistake. I'm not like, here it is, fix it. I'm coming with both. So you hit communicate. That's exactly what I would say. First, communicate. Communicate that there was a problem and acknowledge it and own it. And if it makes sense, tell them why. Like you said, automation broke. That's cool. Tell them what happened and then your proposed solution to fix it. So that's refunds. That's apologies if that's all you can offer. That's acknowledgement. That is, like you said, you can personally reach out to me if you have questions because now I know you have 10 emails to go through. So I'm so sorry. And here they are. Like mistakes happen. We're human. So nothing about this should be like, I'm not asking for a level of perfection here. I know that perfection doesn't exist, but I'm asking for a level of effort and care. And that means own a mistake if it happens. Human error is a thing. And then how do you propose that we fix it? So then communicate that clearly. That's really it. Like, don't beat yourself up. It's the cost of doing business. It has nothing to do with event hosts and attending and conferences or anything like that, but I like to give this example when I talk about ownership and like how this makes you a leader is I was working in financial planning a couple of years ago and now way more than a couple now, but we'll say over 5 years. And I made a mistake. I was like operations back end stuff and worked for the financial planner and I cost someone money with IRS. That's scary that we missed this deadline or actually missed a certain account. I thought I did in this account, but there was another account over here that was missed and they didn't do what they were supposed to by an IRS deadline. And when that was caught, we had to fix that, but they had to pay the IRS money and all of this. And that's terrifying. So when I went though to the business owner who has the financial responsibility of this, I admitted what happened. I did the investigation first, figured it out, owned that it was on me, that I missed that other account, and then the proposed solution, which there wasn't much, I'm like, the IRS has to be paid, but we can pull that out of pocket, we could reimburse them, all of that. So I went with like my thoughts. My very next steps were only to contact the company CPA and get their recommendation, right? And that was like terrifying to me to go to this person. And he chalked it up as the cost of doing business. He's like, that sucks. So we're going to tell her what happened after we talk to said CPA and get an idea. And then we'll fix it. And that's the cost of doing business. And that sticks with me to this day because I'm like, that's totally right. Like, it could be a really costly mistake, a scary mistake, but you're going to own it. You're going to propose a solution and you're going to say it's the cost of doing business. Like, I just also got 150 people and 10 vendors in a room. And that took a lot. So one mistake, two mistakes, 10 mistakes. Okay, it happened.
Yeah, I think just recognizing, zooming out, is this a big problem or a small problem? The 5x5 rule is a favorite of mine. Like, if it's not going to matter in 5 years, like, we don't need to spend more than 5 minutes on this. Yep. But making sure those 5 minutes you spend are done with care and intention and that you take responsibility for it.
Well, that's a wrap on episode 3 of 4 in our 4-part conversation about integrity, ROI, and responsibility for both event host and attendees. Be sure to head over to the Power Table podcast tomorrow, where the fourth and final episode will go live, and Taylor and I wrap up discussion talking about protecting your safety and your sanity when you attend events. And yes, unfortunately, this is a necessary part of our overall conversation because we are aware of safety concerns at events, and we committed to bringing the entire conversation to you, which is exactly what we'll do tomorrow. So make sure that you're called up on episodes 1 through 3. Make sure you tune into Power Table tomorrow and catch the fourth and final episode. And without a doubt, tell us anything sparking your interest, sparking conversation, sparking questions inside of you as it relates to this conversation. We're both available on Instagram and so ready to have this conversation with you.